In this video, I'll show you one of the most obvious mistakes 90% of you are guilty of making in lane. The solution to this mistake is extremely simple, so be sure to pay attention to the video as it will help you win a lot more lanes. I'll use 3 examples from 1 vs 1 mid lane matches against my students to explain this, but it is also applicable on the side lanes as well. As always, if you enjoy my content, please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. With that said, let's get into the video. Alright, so first example, I'm playing Necrophos against a student who's playing Sniper, and this student is 5k MMR. Alright, so the mistake I'm talking about here is, right now I'm really low in health, right? And the main point of the lane is to keep sustaining and ensure that your health and mana is always high. So a good rule of thumb is more than 50% mana is necessary, and full health is always necessary, or at least you should be above 75% or 80% of health. So what you want to be doing is to ensure whenever you send a courier, there must always be regen that comes along. You cannot solely depend on regen in your inventory because in cases where your regen runs out, you're pretty much screwed in lane. So let's play this out and see what happens. Okay, so I'm doing my setting of creeps, I'm trying to push the guy with Death Pulse. Now I'm desperately trying to recover my health so I can keep playing against this guy that's shrapneling me down in lane, right? So with the first courier, I've sent out a Wraith Band and a Tango so I can sustain the lane some more. A lot of cases where players, they tend to save too much on the regen, and because of this, they are forced to sit behind the lane or eventually die when they contest a last hit against the enemy hero. Again, a good rule of thumb is ensure your health is always running, so you are always able to play aggressive like this in lane. Alright, none of this would be possible if I did not have health. So imagine if my regen was not available here, I wouldn't be able to do this aggressive moves like this to pressure the sniper and push him out, which will in turn make me lose the lane really badly. Okay, it's not a good idea to wait until you need regen before you send the regen, but to have the regen prepared before you even need it. That's why it's always important that you have extra regen sending as you send the courier out. Okay? Alright, so now I have the 2 water runes available on the river, and these 2 tangos are sufficient for me to play the lane for now. So then using these 2 tangos, I've managed to sustain against this sniper for a long time, whereas if I didn't send a tango earlier, my lane would have been done. Okay, so I hope you guys understand this situation. Do not save on regen in lane. It's always better that you out-sustain the enemy hero and trade him in order to come back into the lane like this, rather than constantly being stuck on like last hit or quarter health and having no regen to run in lane. Even if you're a Necrophos that can regen, you can't even walk into last hit or creep if your health is constantly stuck in like 10%, 20%. Okay? Make sure you don't save too much gold on your courier as well. Courier efficiency is a very important thing. Whenever you're able to send out items, send them out, but ideally think about regen before you send them out. Okay, so always be sure there's regen coming along. Okay, so you see because of the regen I had, I'm still able to push this guy out. And from a losing lane earlier now, I've recovered into a winning lane. And what this sniper had failed to do was he failed to buy regen earlier. If he had earlier tangos and mangoes, I would have been crushed in the lane. Alright, let's move on to the next example to show you the importance of regen and courier efficiency again. Okay, here's another sniper situation. This time this student is 2k MMR, and I'm trying to show him how to play against a sniper in lane as a melee hero. So you see right off the bat I already have a Wraith Band queued with a tango as well, on top of the tango that I have. If you guys are playing heroes that do not depend on bottle, it's very important that you always have regen running in lane. The moment you run out of regen is the moment your lane is done. This applies to both the side lanes as well. In cases where you guys do not have a partner that's healthy in lane with like high health and mana, it's a guaranteed that you lose the lane already. That's why it's so important that supports are constantly shipping out regen of the courier to keep their cores alive, to keep their offlaners alive, so you guys can constantly win the lane in terms of 2 vs 1 trades or 2 vs 2 trades or even 1 vs 1 trades. Okay? The whole point of laning is just whoever has more regen and is able to trade better, right, able to identify these 2v1 situations, able to buy small items and constantly ship out these items to become stronger and stronger in lane is how you win the lane. Right, you cannot save on these items, you cannot save on regen, you cannot miss out on these openings because you will put your partner in danger in lane. Alright, so a tip for support is make sure you always have regen coming on the courier for at least the first 4 minutes. Regen is extremely important. Okay, regen. Alright, let's play on and see. So I get my last hit here and I'll buy the Wraith Band and Tango. and I have to ensure my Tango is always running in lane. Okay, so here I'm going to eat a regen. I'm going to eat a Tango from the tree, ensure that my health is healthy. Right, the moment I get my Rift Pen and Tango, then I can play a lot stronger in lane to continue the trading. Okay, so here you see I already have 4 Tangos and my Tango can keep sustaining me up in lane. No matter how much this sniper tries to harass me, no matter how many shrapnels he throws on me, I can sustain the lane back healthily and I can manage to take out all his resources early on, right? So imagine if my regen was little or I had no regen, my health would be constantly stuck at half health or maybe quarter health, and it would be very hard to play against the sniper if the guy just keeps harassing me and throwing shrapnel and stuff. Okay, so you just need to force him to use resources early on, exhaust all his resources, and you just sustain it through. Eventually you should be able to dive and kill the guy. Eventually I'm gonna run this guy down and start diving him the moment I hit my boots on my courier. So again, the moment I had 500 gold, I sent a boots here with my Tango available earlier so I can run him down already. Imagine if I was stuck on like half health or quarter health, I wouldn't be able to do this safely. Okay, so even a Tango can be used to eat the tree here to be safe as well. Alright, okay, let's move on to the last example. This time it's a bottle dependent hero, and you will see how even a bottle dependent hero needs to buy extra regen on top of the bottle in case the rune is not enough. But first, before that, if you have been stuck in your rank for a long time, I'm here to help. Over the past 4 years, I've coached more than thousands of students and have helped hundreds of players improve drastically with more than 90% success rate. This includes helping many of my students get to Immortal. So if you want to finally climb MMR, feel free to reach out to me on Discord at balloon#5243 or join my Discord channel. The links are in the description box down below. With that said, let's get back to the video. Alright, this time the situation is where I'm playing a co-op against a 6k student who's playing a puck. So this guy's laning fundamentals and mechanical skills are pretty good because we have trained this a lot of times, at least like 50 matches. So he's able to constantly drop me low and I'm able to constantly drop him low as well. Right? So the main thing that will separate us in the lane now would be in terms of who is able to sustain more to keep up the harass. So if you look at my quick buy here, I already have a lot of regen queued up to notify me in case I need to be conscious of how much health I'm having and mana in relation to my bottle charges. So a lot of times where your bottle is stuck like this and the next rune is probably long, right? You don't want to wait until the next rune to recover in lane. Otherwise you will miss out on a lot of opportunities to play the lane stronger. So times like this would be best that you actually ship out maybe a Salve, a Mango, or a Salve and a Tango to just keep your health constantly high and your mana constantly high for you to keep your advantage up in lane. So let's see what's gonna happen here. Okay, so I've traded a little bit, I've dropped a little bit of health here and there, right? So right off the bat I'm feeling like, hey, I need more regen to play this guy because the next rune is in 4 minutes, which is in 1 more minute. Right, and in 1 more minute I cannot afford to lose out on too much trading here. So the case would be to ensure that my health gets back full before this guy does it, and I'll be able to out-trade him again. So it's such a simple thing to do, but a lot of players tend to overlook it and see it as a waste of resources or gold, right? So this guy just did a really good play where he dropped me really low. But once again, you see, because I've shipped out the regen earlier, the career is already halfway through. Imagine if I'm only shipping out the regen right now, or worse yet, I don't ship out regen at all and I wait for the 4 minutes rune. My lane is practically done and I've practically lost the lane, right? So but instead, because I've sent out the courier, this gives me the opportunity to recover in lane again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sustain up and play the lane again. So you see how because of this regen I have, it allows me the opportunity here to last hit this, harass him, and also deny the flag bearer, which is a really good play, wherein a lot of players will run back to base and give up the entire lane and lose the lane that way, or sometimes they'll be stuck in lane with like 100 health trying to contest scripts like this and die in turn. I'll be stuck with like maybe 200 health, 25% health trying to get the rune, waiting for it and getting crushed by the enemy. It's always best that you prepare more regen before you need it, or as you feel like you're about to need it to play lane strong again, right? So you see how I blink in, scream 2 last hits, push this guy away, surprise him with the regen and deny a flag bearer as well. So this was a very cost effective play, where I've bought some regen. Yes, I've used some gold, but in turn I've managed to deny his XP, I've managed to push him out, and the remaining 2 tangles will help me to play the lane strong again. But if you look at this guy's items, he doesn't actually have a regen to play against me. Okay, I hope that makes sense. This video is just a very simple excerpt from my 1 versus 1 mid lane training to show you that in cases where you are a bottle hero, or even if you're not a bottle hero, make sure you always have sustain running in lane, make sure you always have high mana and high health and mana in lane. The rule is more than 50% mana and constantly more than maybe 80% or close to full health in lane. Okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comment box below. I always try my best to answer to you guys if any questions you have. If you are interested in 1 versus 1 practice like this, just reach out to me on Discord and schedule a session with me. Okay? Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.